All right, so the first thing we have to do, why Ed's not here, is I have to make the seasoning. So read it with me. It says seasoning. So we take some seasoning. I just use a frozen seasoning. We put it in the bag. We want, all together when you're done, you want about between half a cup and a cup of seasoning. So we'll do that. Then I take this, I add a little bit of water to it because it won't microwave. Frozen things don't microwave well on their own unless there's a little bit of water in there to make them steam up. And then we want to like microwave it for 45 seconds and then stir it, microwave it again for 45 seconds. We're just trying to thaw it out completely. We're not trying to cook it. We're just trying to thaw it so we can chop the hell out of it and turn it into guacamole. Yes, guacamole. That's what we also call it. Seasoning. I microwaved it, drained out the juice. We have the fluffy guacamole thawed. Now, what I want to do is chop the living hell out of it. And just keep chopping it until it's not recognizable as anything that it was. This would be easier if I had a food processor or any fancy machinery, but I have a knife. Most people have a knife. Okay, if you don't have a knife, you shouldn't have a kitchen. That was the oven preheating so that it can be, so I don't have to wait for that to catch up. This oven seems to take forever to preheat. After I do that a few times, put it back in the pile. Got a nice pile there, and I do it again. We're going to be at this for a while. I found it's best to make it insanely small. That way you get all the flavor and nutrients and someone doesn't notice. And there we have it. Seasoning. Freshly made. Welcome to Real Easy Cooking with Robert. I'm Robert, and this is Ed. And today we're making quiche, one of Ed's favorite meals. Yep. Actually, isn't it? All right, so first thing we want to do, we already made some seasoning. We're going to add some red pepper to it. This will add some color, and not a lot of flavor though. Take that, throw that away. Inside here is a little, not much for peppers, for seeds. Throw them away because they tend to get spicy. Now we'll take a bigger knife, whack it in half, and then you can do the same thing again, and then just start making off some slices. About like that. This is how I do it. I'm sure there's faster, better ways, but like I always say, this monkey only knows a couple ways to do things.
Yep.
And that's why you're here to learn new ones, hey?
Yep.
Yeah, there will be a few seeds in there, but that's okay. Because when they get cooked, I'm just making sure there's no really big pieces that miss the dicing. So it's basically half of red pepper. And that's just really to add color to the dish, a little bit of texture difference. They're not spicy. I'm going to add that to the seasoning bowl.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
see?
a big bowl.
Huh? Yeah? We can save this for later.
Yep. So we can whack it later. Haha.
We can get rid of that. All right, now, eggs. I have 5 eggs.
Whisk?
Yes, you're going to get to whisk. Do you want to crack an egg?
Yeah.
Crack an egg. That's one way to do it. I hit it on the side once. And then just do that. Or you can do it that way. Oh, no. You don't drop the shell in there, boy.
Sorry.
You get that out. And the goal is to not get your hands all nasty, huh? You want to go wash your hands?
Yep.
Oh, that one broke too. I made a mess on that one. Thin shell, I guess.
Yep.
Actually, it was a thin shell.
Down the lane. Raining.
All right.
I always love smashing the yolks before thawing. Going wham, wham, wham. Before thawing.
Now, do you want to try whisking?
Yep. I first do that.
You do that. Just break them up first. That helps.
Yep.
Just don't spill it out of the bowl.
That's
You
the
should put one
easiest way
hand
to do it.
holding the bowl. While you do that, I'm going to add the pepper.
Always break up the eggs before
Add some
you
salt.
thaw. Take the whisk and go wham, wham, wham on the yolks that aren't already cracked and broken. Then you thaw. And do it that way.
While you're doing that, I'm going to chop up some ham. I bought some ham at the store to put in there. And just use cheap deli ham. It's cheap and easy. Watch out. Hold on the bowl hard so it doesn't spill. If you spill that, we have no dinner. And we want to add some ham. We want to chop this into about
It's really,
half inch to
it's
half
really
inch
done.
squares. All right, then set that aside. That's good enough for now. Set that over here. I'll finish in a little bit. Take this deli ham and
Could use a knife.
well, this one would be easier for cutting big things like this.
Like fish bones.
This is smoked ham, so it should add a nice flavor to the quiche. And once again, it was cheap and it was easy to buy, and we just chop it up into little cubes and chunks. And we're going to add this, and this is about 2 cups of cheese. Cup and a half, 2 cups of cheese.
In the veil.
Into here. Yep.
And then I get to whisk it more. Whisk
Throw
it,
that
whisk
away.
it, or whisk it, whisk it.
We add all this.
Now I get to whisk it, whisk it, whisk it.
We add the cheese.
Now I get to whisk it.
Well, let me do it first. You whisked earlier. Let me do this part. This really isn't whisking at this point. It's mixing. And we have one more thing to mix in here once we get the eggs broke up. Yes. That's 3/4 cup of milk. You notice this is one of the few recipes where I did actually measure something. I measured the milk. Measured a few other items. You want to try? I'll hold the bowl. Don't make a mess. I feel like I'm going to be wearing this. Close.
I can
What
tell.
you're just doing is moving here. You want?
I can tell this will be really good quiche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like the color that's in it?
Yep.
So it's not just egg color, but it's got egg and green and yellow and red.
Prettiest quiche ever. Ha.
Okay, now what we also want to do is quiche needs a pie crust. So we have to spend hours now making a pie crust, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get ready for that. We're going to do this the real easy way, right?
Yep.
Bam! I spent all day making this one. It took me hours. was at the grocery store in the frozen food section.
Yep. I always take off
Here, just one.
that
2 pie shells.
part.
And look, I made one for next time too. Look at that. Double the fun. I set my pie shells on a cookie sheet because this little sheet ain't very strong and this thing can leak, and then you just pour this right in the middle. It'll look like it's gonna fill it all the way up, but it won't. See? A little bit on the edges.
This will be super duper duper good cheese.
I hope so. It looks good. Now, trick also. Add a little cheese right around the edge now, and then when it cooks, add some more. I'm using flavored Mexican cheese, 4 cheese flavored, just because it'll add more flavor than just like plain cheddar, because it is just crust.
Yep. Also, Dad, would you put some in the middle too?
I will when it gets already pre-cooked.
Okay.
If I was to add it right now to the middle, it would sink in.
Wow.
The only reason I'm doing this here is because I want to put some on the actual crust itself. So the edge of the crust is yummy to eat also, because I like to eat the crust.
I take my fingers and take what you're sprinkling cheese on off with my fingers.
You take the crust off?
Just that part, the part you're sprinkling cheese on.
Okay, now the crust is fairly coated. We will add more cheese when we're halfway done cooking. Then we'll put a little bit more around there and put a glump in the middle to make it look pretty. But now we put this in the oven at 350 degrees, and it's going to sit in here for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much milk I put in, everything else. It's basically till it firms up. You want to see that, Ed?
Wow.
As you notice, I do keep my cast iron skillet in there too, just because it doesn't harm it to have it there, and that cast iron is so freaking huge that I gotta keep it somewhere. So now we can sit here and watch the oven for an hour. Come on, let's watch. This will be exciting. Like watching paint peel. Yeah? Are you excited?
I want to play.
You want to play? No, this is more fun. Watch. We just stand here and watch for an hour. Only 1 hour? Come on. Okay, you can go play. We'll be back in an hour. All right, it's been about 40 minutes. So, we're going to take the quiche out for a little bit. That's why you don't fill them all the way to the top, but leave it down a little bit. It will expand. It's not done cooking. You can see there's still oozing up moisture. But we're going to add more cheese. It'll bake right in between the crust and the cheese that's already there. Because we're in Wisconsin and you can never really have too much cheese on your food in Wisconsin. And because Ed asked for it, I dollop right in the middle too for looks. Okay, so we put that on. I turn the oven down to 325 because I don't want to burn the cheese. And we let that set for another 10-12 minutes or so. That way the cheese will melt in, should balance out, and it'll be really good then. So we'll be back in 12 minutes or so. Okay, it's been about 12 more minutes, so I'm going to pull it out of the oven.
Probably scorching hot.
Yeah, it should be. It's been in the oven for a while. It's cooked.
Boom, boom.
And the cheese is nice and golden brown, and top is golden. Different colors. And it's insanely hot. Cut off a small chunk of it here. It's real fluffy. That's a good sign. Let's play a little closer because here's where I'm not good at dishing these out all the time. At least not the first one. Ooh, that came out perfect. It's got...
Onions here.
It has cheese, egg, the meat. You can see the bits of pepper, the cheese up on top. The crust is good. It's hot. Very hot. Okay, I recommend you let it cool down a little bit before you eat it. But yeah, this one turned out real good.
Yeah, even the crust is hot.
Well, it did just come out of the oven, so it's 325 to 350 degrees. So yes, the crust is crazy hot also. What do you think, Ed? Was this a win? All right, that's been Real Easy Cooking, and we're out of here.
Done.
Ciao. Read it with me. It says seasoning. Seasoning.